Hi everybody, welcome to our next episode of the ECC, where we like to educate, communicate, and collaborate with our brands. Today's episode we're going to discuss, recently Laurie and I became certified as customer experience officers.
And we have the certificates to prove it.
Yes, so it was a year-long syllabus worth of information, and we're just going to take you through what we learned, a snapshot of it, and talk about the last year.
Yeah. So basically, it really focused on the 10 commandments as it relates to brand experience. And the 10 commandments, and as they align with delivering world-class customer experience. So there was basically 10 steps. And
Right.
the first one started with service vision. And a service vision is a clear purpose as to why a business exists. So we worked on what our purpose was, and it really came down to because people can treat people better. And that really grew from a service pledge that was developed on the front line. And at that time, a group of CSRs volunteered their time to sit around our boardroom table and really understand what it meant for them to be on the front line serving our customers. And the end result really was our service pledge, and it's to create meaningful interactions by engaging in the moment. And everything in our journey from a call center to a brand experience center was centered on that pledge.
Right.
And really focused on creating meaningful interactions by engaging in the moment.
Yeah. So that leads us to the second area within this 10 commandments, which is creating a world-class internal culture. So along with the service pledge and building their mantra, we also worked at taking Team NPS feedback and implementing change, understanding from a frontline perspective what areas they really enjoy and what areas we could improve in.
Yeah.
And as an ongoing measure, we're going to implement monthly morale surveys. So just doing a pulse check, making sure that the morale is still high and that we're still continuing to build that world-class culture.
Absolutely. And you know, it was interesting this past year with our Team NPS results. We posted all of the responses and replies that we put together, and it was really positively received, and it opened up a lot of dialogue.
Yeah.
And we're hoping that this morale survey will be an ongoing touch point where it keeps the dialogue open and we'll be able to really understand if change is being recognized.
Right.
The third area is non-negotiable standards. And a lot of our brands are working on operating standards and experience standards. And this really is defined as exactly that, experience standards that everyone must follow. And they're termed always and nevers. And you know, an example would be always usher, never point.
Yeah. Always say yes, never say no.
Right. Those types of things. So that was certainly quite enlightening, and it's inspired some great conversations with our brands.
Yeah. So the fourth one is secret service systems. So this is using customer intelligence. So this was the entire course that we took, was all around customer intelligence, taking those little tidbits of information, understanding them, keeping them on file in the CRM system or whatever system you're using, and taking all of those opportunities to engage with the customer, make it personalized. One thing we learned was an acronym FORD, which is family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. So as you're having conversations with customers and with each other and with your peers, just understanding what they like, what they enjoy, and taking those pieces of information and representing it to the customer at different stages throughout their journey. And that's really the secret service behind engaging with your customers.
And they had one example that really stood out to Raemie and I, and it was all around a hair salon. And
Right.
so they would have any new customer coming in would be given a white cape for their appointment, and anyone that was a regular returning customer would be wearing a black cape. And it was interesting to see how the salon employees engage with the customers differently based on the color of cape. It was just an automatic cue to be able to welcome a new customer to the salon, or hey, great to see you back again, when they were wearing the black cape. So that was really quite interesting, and we collect a lot of customer information when we're booking appointments on the first contact. And Ed Waller classically calls them watermelon seeds, and being able to use those little nuggets of information when you're engaging with the customer when you show up for that estimate.
Yep. Number 5.
training to provide a world-class customer experience. This has been a big area of focus for us. It's really, over the last year and a half, we've implemented our Moment Maker Academy, which is the Docebo learning platform that all of our brands share. Really, the next step for us right now is to build out some emotional intelligence modules, and they will be focused on empathy, service orientation, and then emotional awareness. And really, the end goal there is to equip our frontline with the tools to be able to recognize opportunities to delight.
Right, yeah, and just bring the level of engagement they have with the customer to another level. So not just building rapport and some basic things, but having some additional insights into how to make that conversation more engaging.
Absolutely.
Number 6 is implementation and execution. So it's taking the ideas that you have on paper and actually putting them into action. It's been a year that we've gone through this syllabus, that we've learned all of this material, we've digested all the learning, we've taken different areas of our business, and we've decided where we're going to apply different strategies to try to implement the learning. So we're in this phase actively right now, continuously trying to up our game.
You know, one example, Raemie, is the Better Book Club that we're putting in place.
Yes.
And it's really to help inspire our frontline to continue to develop themselves. Yeah. And I believe it's called the Bookworm.
Yes, TLS Bookworms. Yes.
Yeah. So, and we've already had our first round of book reviews where everyone that's actually read a leadership book has came to the table and shared their learning, and now they've selected another book to continue developing themselves. And that's one of the big takeaways that we took away from the course, and it's working brilliantly.
Yes. Yeah.
Number 7 is zero risk.
So this is understanding ahead of time where service defects could occur and having an action plan to address them. So understanding, if in our world, if a moment maker is taking a first contact call and something happens during that call, giving them the tools, arming them with the tools to be able to bob and weave through that conversation. So it's looking at each stage of your customer's journey and recognizing where could things go wrong and how are we going to impact it.
And they really broke it out into 4 different sections. So they had operating standards, which we work with all of our brands to adhere to. They had experiential standards, above and beyond standards, and then service defects. So the operating standards are just table stakes. It's what it means to do business with a customer and the expectations that are there in terms of delivering that service. The experiential standards are standards that are replicable and are personalized. So that's what we were speaking about earlier with the watermelon seeds, using the customer information that's been given. The above and beyond are sort of one-offs, and that speaks to that ability to recognize opportunities to delight. And then the service defects are what Raemie was saying, the things that can go wrong, and being able to try to fix them moving forward, understand the themes, and then make operational change to ensure that they don't happen moving forward.
Right. Yep. Number 8 is creating an above and beyond culture. So it's just constant awareness and branding of how to be a hero. So it's as Laurie said, it's taking the opportunities to delight when they present themselves, arming our front line with the emotional intelligence to recognize that, and working with the brands collaboratively to try to help engage in those moments with their customers.
Absolutely. Number 9 is measuring your customer's experience, and all of our brands are very familiar with the different metrics that go along with measuring our customer's experience, looking at prospect NPS, customer NPS, team NPS, looking at the overall and understanding if there's correlations in the themes that are presenting in all 3 of those different metric pools. So I think that pretty much summarizes up number 9.
Yeah, and we, every year we do our own NPS with our brand partners. So,
we do, yeah.
Look for that survey from us coming soon, and that's how we get better. We do the same thing as you do with your customers. So taking that feedback, theming it, implementing change is how we get better as well. So.
Absolutely. And number 10.
World-class leadership.
That's right. High five. So we're striving to become world-class leaders in brand experience. There's no end to our learning. There's certainly a long path ahead for us on our journey to really leading a brand experience center. We certainly welcome questions. We're happy to share the information we've learned. It certainly complements the strategic direction of our companies, and I think that you'd find it quite insightful.
Yeah, so that wraps up this episode of ECC. Thanks for sticking with us and tuning in.